And just to be clear, we are just sitting here. Now, we just went off the air just now. Again, just a little explanation for those of you just tuning in or those of you picking up. Our director is sick. He's sick, and he's not here to help us. And so we are doing this by ourselves. I mean, Eric's over here. He's just...
I'm grinding it out.
Tonight's show is about our passions in the paranormal realm, and it's an opportunity for you to get to know us.
Get to know us deeply.
So what do we have here?
This is Ghost Loop Lore. Are ghosts stuck in never-ending loops? You know, that's something that I've never really taken time to think about. But if there is a human soul, and if we are sort of driven by, if our consciousness is sort of this, has a beginning and end, and then starts again, well, that might be a clue to what ghosts are going through.
This headline, Ghost Loop Lore, are ghosts stuck in never-ending loops. I think your comment on it makes me think about life, the eternal return, the looping of the universe. It makes me think third go around as a ghost. Are you going, cool, I like this movie, keep playing it?
Right.
Or are you going, oh God, I wish there was another movie on? And the movie is your life. It's your life.
Or are we thinking, kill me? Kill me now.
And the problem is, because if you're going through a never-ending loop and someone killed you, then that's part of the loop.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because you're just, so by loop 3 or 4, you're thinking to yourself, oh no, I'm going to have to experience someone killing me. I should not have wished for that.
And it opens, it also, I'm assuming in this hypothetical that, that you can have different thoughts in each life. But what if the thoughts are part of the loop, Eric?
Oh, so maybe you're saying, so if I'm hearing your theory correctly, you're thinking the same things, but maybe part of your consciousness is aware, thinking the same thoughts that you were thinking before?
Yeah, is there some part of yourself in which you're watching that replay? One of my paranormal passions is time travel.
Is that right?
Yes. And it's sort of an interesting paranormal passion because there might come a time in which it's not in the paranormal realm, but in the realm of science. And here's where things get kind of kooky. I personally have made a promise to myself that I am going to use time travel to change everything.
Well, I know that I know that this show is a bright spot in your life.
Yeah, but it won't be.
Because you'll change that.
Everything will be gone.
Well,
it'll essentially be murdering this universe. So I'll go back in time, and I will change it all.
Man. So what you're saying that everything that's good will be bad and everything that's bad will be good.
Who even knows if the same categories will apply? You're probably wondering why I'd want to do such a thing.
Well, I know that you're not super stoked about your job.
No.
I know that,
I thought you were about to say my life, and that also would have been a true statement.
Right. Well, I was going to start itemizing the things in your life that I know you're not happy about.
But life would say it all.
Right.
Everything.
Well,
right.
we do have some time to kill, so I was just going to start to enumerate. You would change everything.
My sons. Let's enumerate.
Let's start with this.
So where did this come from for me? Because it is what drives my paranormal passion for time travel is the promise. It's not even a wish, it's a promise. It's a promise I've made myself to change everything. Where does that come from? Well, let's do a TRL. Like a
Total Request Live?
Or a David Letterman top 10 list of reasons why I want to change everything. 1, my two twin sons. I am a divorcee, and I have children that resulted from that wreck. And to say that they are a burden is not just an understatement, but it's also it's almost a philosophical certainty for me.
I kind of think of you as like the Malcolm X of fatherhood and marriage. And I guess what I mean by that is, by any means necessary, you'll get across the finish line. It may not be pretty, but you're going in. You're going in hot.
Right. The way that makes sense to me is I knew, as I've mentioned before, and I guess this kind of, brings back the whole time travel thing, but I knew for certain that I was going to get divorced before I even proposed.
Right.
To my wife. But I was a by any means necessary, because I said, I am going to have gone through a marriage no matter what. And I will have, by any means necessary, I will have 2 kids. And I will, what I later learned is that I was an idiot for thinking that stuff. And I do regret it. And hence the time travel. I was a moron. I was a moron. A total moron.
Well, here's the conundrum. Is, let's say you time travel and change everything. Well, suddenly your children they're not twins. You've got a boy and a girl. And instead of being a burden, like you say, they're a joy. Your wife is hot.
Instead of just cool.
But she was definitely cool. Now, what the problem is that you've already made a commitment to nullify and ablate everything. So all stuff is going right, but you've already signed a piece of paper in your pocket saying, I'm going to undo the universe.
And this is the reason, Eric, why this is a passion of mine, is because by fucking up my own life and then wishing it was different through kind of what I admit freely, we're all, as human beings, we're not perfect. We have flaws, and it's weird how we sometimes can recognize those flaws and live alongside them. And just because I'm a great paranormal investigator or a very serious paranormal activist doesn't mean that I'm above human frailty or imperfection. And what I will openly admit, my entire plan with this is a joke.
Well, what I appreciate about the whole thing is that you're letting your passions drive your science. I mean, it's not that you're a scientist by any means.
No, in fact, I'd sort of get upset if someone said that.
Right. What we do is sort of anti-science in a way. Now, nevertheless, we call it science every once in a while just for the sake of conversation. And your quote-unquote science or anti-science is driven by this desire to escape, escape some of the hardness of your life, and that's what is the source of all true great innovation. You look at Galileo, you look at Archimedes, you look at Sir Isaac Newton, Sir Edmund Hillary. They were all pushed to the brink.
And they all climbed. They all won Mount Everest.
There is a theory out there that they all climbed Mount Everest, which there's some basis in fact.
Yeah, that's partially true.
Yeah, because Galileo, we don't have a complete record on what he did.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Kind of going down a rabbit hole in this one, but I'm going to go ahead and say, welcome to our world. Yeah. Hey, Alice, welcome to Wonderland. This is a show about rabbit holes. Now, that being said, I mean, not literally.
Not literally and not even
metaphorically.
Not euphemistically, because we've gotten in trouble with that at work.
It's a sentence that I immediately would say, forget I said that.
But here we go.
But here we go. Let's proceed.
Let's go.
So here's what I'd say about
the Galilean.
About the theory that Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, Sir Edmund Hillary,
and Archimedes,
have all climbed Mount Everest. I would argue part of the truth comes from that is we're basically always climbing Mount Everest.
Right. And to double down on that, I defy anyone to prove us wrong.
And when we're defying you, we mean in the sense that, like, imagine you're trying to kill us and you're just about to kill us. Well,
yeah.
What we'd say to you in that moment, and this is sort of the energy that we're projecting to say, defy us, we're defying you to prove us wrong. What we'd say, if you were just about to kill us, is fuck you.
Right.
And blood would sort of be coming out of our mouth. It would be like, say you're sorry, and we're just like, fuck you.
Yeah, which is why I'm not allowed to go back to work for a week and a half, because I did that when my manager said, hey, get some paper towels out of the stock room, and I want you to replace all the paper towel dispensers. And that was my vocal response. Even when in my heart I thought, okay, I'm going to have to do this anyway. So that's the energy that we give off.
It's sometimes. An energy that we take into I mean, just to bring things back home, we're all climbing Mount Everest all the time. We have part of what makes us good paranormal investigators is that we have an attitude that says, you want me to stop investigating ghosts and UFOs? Make me, asshole. Yeah, you're going to have to climb into my apartment while I'm asleep and pick me up and lock me in some kind of chest.
Yeah.
To stop me from investigating those things.
Exactly. And you were talking about human frailty. It's like we don't always get everything right.
No.
And so
that would be crazy to say that.
But are we going to act as though we know everything and that we are committed to whatever theory that comes across the screen of our brain? You better believe your ass.
At least until you leave.
And then we might privately together say, was that too much?
And then next time we might never mention it again.
And that's why we're not invited to parties. Alex and I, we were at a party. We were invited to a work function party. And we brought up this Galileo, Archimedes, Sir Edmund Hillary, Sir Isaac Newton hiking up Mount Everest theory that we have. And this guy, Dwight,
he's a funny guy. First of all, he's funny and kind of he's the guy who he undoes his tie and he puts a lamp shade on his head and he says, everybody get the hell out of my house.
Yeah, and Alex and I just we hadn't even, the party was just winding up, and Alex and I started to talk about some more paranormal theories, and everybody was just saying, "Leave."
Yeah,
you guys gotta leave.
It was kind of fun. Like, we got there right when the party was really getting cooking, and Dwight, who, he was just about to start basically ripping it to whatever song was on, and he was ready to party, and he said, "You two get the hell out of my house."
And the music stopped, and everyone pointed a finger at us, and it was not the Christian middle finger, it was the real one. And Alex and I took one look at each other, and what could we say? We just said, "Here we go again."
Look, our lives are if it weren't for our passions, we're transparent about this, and this is another reason why we're doing the show. This job is an umbrella for many passions, right?
Right.
And our lives outside of the paranormal are nuclear wastelands, crawling with people who don't like us.
With freaks, with mutants, with hatches that have those iron wheels on it.
Yeah.
Our lives have, sort of in a metaphorical and in a literal way, all of those things, all of those ingredients of a paranormal wasteland.
I wonder if we can, why don't we dig into another headline here?
Sure.
and kind of be inspired. Our lives are bad. Is kind of a good landing point. I would like to go back in time and destroy all things. And if an opportunity does arise, I will and I shall.
So this is pretty interesting. Secret oceans hidden on Earth could prove aliens are living in our solar system, scientists say. Now,
that is it's an exciting headline just to see. Mm-hmm. Secret oceans hidden on Earth could prove aliens are living in our solar system. Well, part of the reason it makes me angry right away, how much proof do you need, right? What are you, blind?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah. You don't need this kind of, sure, this is fun proof.
Yeah,
but
aliens
are living in our solar system.
That's self-evident. If you just walk across the street, you buy a hamburger, you run into 10 aliens.
Yeah, has no one, and I don't mean to sound flippant or pissed, but I am both. Has no one seen Men in Black? Or Men in Black? There were 2 sequels, and it paints a very clear picture of what's going on this planet.
Men in Black, aliens, Ghostbusters, critters.
I mean, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh how I don't want to say mentally ill because that's insensitive. How fucking big jerk offs everyone. There's such. I mean, how big of a jerk off do you have to be to say, okay, you think aliens live here? Give me some evidence.
Where would that idea come from if it weren't true? I mean, do you think that people would just sort of dream up aliens and just say, hey, let's put them in the movies?
We passionately believe. We passionately know that aliens live in our solar system. They live in our planet.
They breed with each other out in the open, in farms, in a farm, in a city. You don't need secret oceans to explain aliens.
It's a fascinating theory, but I mean, look, we don't like to. I have a short temper, Eric. I always have with non-believers, and the more people say to me, "Where's your proof?" the more I say, I'm gonna kill you. And it's not because I'm going to. It's because I want to.
Right. I feel the same. I feel the same kind of rage towards people who don't believe the clear presence of all manner of creatures, cryptids, aliens. Like, what is their deal? I wish, talk about time travel. I wish I could turn back time to a point in which I didn't believe these things.
That you could understand.
So I could understand it, but I can't because I always have.
Well, let's use this. One of our passions, belief in extraterrestrial life, literally everywhere, all over the place.
In the chair.
I mean,
in the microphones.
Yeah.
And the carpet.
They're kind of, they're. I mean, there's probably one standing on the roof, and
wouldn't that be something?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was just up there. You have to turn the elevator off when you're done using it, and there wasn't one up there, and you'd be able to see it because aliens they're all huge.
And which is another, and the elevator goes right up onto the roof, which is part of the reason why we're in this building. We thought that feature was excellent.
Imagine. Just quick side note, because I do have a thought experiment off this, but I think it's worth sort of taking a moment. Imagine you walk in to a building, you press up, you wait for the elevator, you get in, and when the doors open, you're on the roof.
It really is one of those things that you don't see every day, and one of those things you privately long for, and when it happens, you think to yourself, wow, well, I'm home, because this is just what I would do with an elevator if I were designing one. So it's
one of the simple joys.
It's one of the joys
is just
getting in an elevator and just seeing where it goes.
And it ends up being the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. To truly enjoy it, to truly enjoy the elevator, I always try to be surprised that it ends up on the roof.
I try and pretend like I don't know where I'm going, and then when the doors open, I'm just blown away. But
it's a really cool thing.
It is super. For all these things that we've remarked about, like being angry and hating, wanting to hurt people, which is, there's some truth there. Yeah. The simple joys of living. Boy, you just can't get any better than that.
And I don't want to immediately go right back into something that kind of takes the wind out of that as a positive thing, but I do wish they would do something about the ducks that kind of nest up there, because it's not great.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting their water source from, because there's definitely no water up there.
Well, it's very possible that they kind of fly, somewhere else when they need water, and then just come back to continue living on the roof, which is
I just don't see that happening. That seems far-fetched. But look, they bring us a lot of joy. Alex and I
we do, for all the complaining we do, we love the ducks.
There are these ducks. I mean, I know that this isn't why everybody watches the show, but they're mallards. They're up there.
They're beautiful, beautiful ducks.
They are. If you have never seen one of these things in flight, a duck in flight, you're missing out, because it is one of God's creations that is par excellence.
It's a certain animals you see in motion, and you'd say, I want to ride that around. And a duck is one of the creatures that make you wish that you could somehow, and I'm sure there is a way, although the ways that I know of take a toll that's far too great to actually do them regularly, but it makes you wish there was a convenient way to shrink yourself down and just ride around whatever animal you wanted.
Or make yourself larger. One of the things about sea creatures, some of them squids, blue whales, they're too big to get your legs around unless you're probably 20 times the size you are now.
Right. I mean, you could sort of just sit on top of a blue whale.
Yeah.
But it's not I mean, what's the gold standard for a thing to ride around? A horse, right?
Right.
I mean, because it's just it works so well. The saddle arcs onto the back. That's what you want your riding experience to be like for all animals, is to have a saddle that sort of mirrors the saddle for a horse.
And it's problematic with the ducks because you see them and you're just thinking, boy, if I could just get one leg over that thing. I'd even sit side saddle, but in order to properly mount the duck, you would have to be probably 2 feet tall, I'm guessing. And I just don't know how to get there right now. But we'll see.
There's not an easy way. There are
ways,
but they're not sustainable, is what I'd say. It's not available every time I'd like to. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up before, Eric. Oh, I lost my music.
Oh.
One thing I wanted to bring up before, Eric, is what sort of got us going down this spiral of discussion. And again, if you're just tuning in, the episode tonight is our director is sick, and we have to run the show by ourselves, and so we're kind of digging in and just having some extended conversations about our paranormal passions.
Right.
Now, we were talking before about the idea of evidence, right?
Right.
And how it makes us angry that you need any for extraterrestrial life. Well, and just our inability, right, Eric, to understand the non-believing mind. Well, why don't we take a little time and try to understand as a thought experiment? Let's try to imagine.
That's a good idea. It's difficult. When you're operating at such a high capacity and you're seeking the truth and you're preparing a show.
You're seeking the truth at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. When you're living 6 inches from out of control every day of your life, it's difficult to stop and say, oh, let me do a thought experiment and imagine a different lifestyle.
I think that's very fair. It's a privileged position to be in, but it's one in which we can sort of sit down in that comfy chair and say, well, let's be professors for an afternoon.
Yeah. So okay. So if we're going down that road of like, okay, we're not believers, we don't believe that aliens are living amongst us. What would life look like? What would be sort of the trappings of such a lifestyle? You would probably have a car.
Right. So I think there's sort of a point of agreement, I guess, because, like it or not, I mean, there are ways to travel due to sort of being in touch with more paranormal or supernatural aspects. There are ways to travel without a car, but not ones that, again, are convenient, because teleportation, for instance, takes a tremendous toll. I mean, we've all seen Terminator. First of all, your clothes are gone.
Yeah.
So if you're teleporting, like Arnold did at the beginning of the movie, and it's a great illustration of what teleportation is like. You better be ripped, because you're naked outside, and as cool as that ball of lightning is around you, you're fucking naked. And if you're fat or even sort of just you're slim but out of shape, I mean, people are gonna laugh at you forever.
Well, and many non-believers, so to speak, some of them are ripped, and so maybe it's possible they are teleporting around.
And I think that's one. Well. Here's the thing: they're not though, because they don't believe it's possible.
Right.
And this is one of the things. This is. I mean, I don't mean to diverge from my understanding, but when I look at a non-believer and I say, you are ripped,
Right.
you know, you have that body that I would not only die for, I would kill and die at the same time.
Yeah, there are some of these people. You see them at work. You see them in the supermarket, in the mall, trying on shoes, and their bodies are chiseled out of marble. It looks like, and you just think to yourself, why me? Why aren't I like that? But
Right.
the thing is, though, is and again, we keep going down these rabbit trails, but it's like we don't have time to go to the gym, to eat well. We've got to fuel up.
I mean, when I'm at, I've never gone to the places that I go to. There's always someone who looks better than me. You know what I'm saying?
No matter whether it's a great hair day or it's a bad one.
Right. I mean, I can go to the junkyard and see 4 people who look better than me. It's just a fact. I mean, I'm sure all people feel that way, but I think the point is, I look at these people, right? These non-believers, and I say, if you are that perfect, then do you understand that you could be teleporting and be ripped? You could be naked and ripped.
Yeah,
outside.
Get in the boat.
Yeah, it's like you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You would be a great person to teleport. The ball of lightning would disappear.
You would be naked, and you would have an excuse. Do you know what I would give to have an excuse to be naked
and ripped at the same time
in the street?
If I was ripped, I would walk outside every day naked, and I would go through my entire day. I would go through my entire goddamn day like that, and everyone would say, good.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about, you remember that guy who was in charge of Coney 2012 movement? Yeah. And that guy, he was an attractive, handsome guy. And what was interesting about him is he was kind of on the fringe, because he was sort of split the difference between somebody who's very well adjusted. This is a guy who's got a lot of fans, followers. He's an attractive guy, but he's also got one leg in not a conspiracy world, not like us, but it's sort of, he's a truth seeker and he's building a movement around it, sort of like us. And what happens? He goes into the street and just starts masturbating, and then where he screwed up is he apologized afterwards,
right?
Because he almost had it all.
I was ready to say, I remember when I saw that video, I saw it late. I watched the whole thing, and I was just I was proud to be a guy.
Yeah. When
I watched that video, and I was about to write in the comments section, good for you, good for us.
Yeah.
And
it's like, go, go, go.
Right. Go, 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 finally, finally, finally. and then I scrolled down to the comment section, and I was shocked and saddened to see that actually, people view that as something that ruined him.
Right. And it goes to show you can't have it all. Either you're hot and ripped and you can't go outside and jerk off in the street, or you're kind of like us and you're kind of just whatever we are. And
then at least you believe in ghosts, though.
You believe in ghosts.
And
we don't have and we can go jerk off or whatever. Not that's a crude way to put it. But we can do that, but just nobody's going to pay attention, and that's what's unfortunate.
Why would you do that if no one's going to cheer for you? Yeah. But I wonder if,
Yeah.
when you look at, like, the non-believers, and I say, if you are that perfect, then do you understand that you could be teleporting and be ripped? You could be we dig so deep into our points. We only got one step deep into understanding
Right. The psychology of
the non-believer.
Yeah.
But I want to say, I think we've discovered something important, because in the specific lies an infinity. That's one of the dark of the night nightcrawler principles.
Right. Of which there are 6.
Right. And which we unfold.
Say it again, because I think it's important for people to hear this.
Right. It's dark of the night nightcrawler, eternal truth.
Yep.
Number 1. In the specific lies an infinity.
And these are not things we've come up with. These are things we've uncovered
Right.
that have existed for all time.
Right. We are both like, I mean, the only way that I can explain what our missions have been like to uncover these truths are the Indiana Jones films.
All 9 of them.
But look,
sorry. I was gonna after what you say, what you're gonna say. I was gonna say, tell me again why that principle relates to the non-believer.
Well, right. So we've delved into the infinity of point 1 of the non-believer. They have I imagine they'd have a car, right?
Right.
Well, what did we search and find? Well, we thought about why would they travel with a terrestrial form of transportation when there are paranormal, supernatural ways to transport, such as teleporting. And here's what I want to say. Non-believers have a car because they don't want to think about these things, because they're too connected to the earthly, right? They don't want to think outside the norm because they are ripped.
Yeah.
Non-believers are so busy being ripped and better than us in most ways, that how could they possibly concern themselves with the higher or perfect things?
Yeah, it's like when your life is going so well, you don't really stop to smell the roses, and whether those roses be Sasquatch or aliens or Alf or whatever. It's only when your life is wasting away and your life is rotting from the inside out that you say, I'm going to look beyond to the stars, to the woods, to the sewers underneath New York City, and I'm going to see what's going on down there, because it can't be any worse than what I'm dealing with now.
We've been, Eric, you and I have been, and we're discovering this as we go. I am getting a...
Yeah, it could be something about the show, maybe. What's...
There's a voicemail.
Oh.
And here's what I'm going to do.
Huh.
This is a big move.
Sure.
I'm going to ignore it. Only because I don't even know that the show has a voicemail. So it's not... Here's my logic on this, because I want to get right back to what we were talking about. It would take me maybe 8 or 9 minutes to even find out what the fuck voicemail that is for.
Sure.
So it's not that I don't want to play it, but we definitely won't.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, we have been blessed to have such terrible lives in which when I was 17 and I'd just been kicked out of a rock and roll band called 15-Year-Old Mothers, in which I played keyboard. And I wasn't good enough, and because I didn't actually play keyboard and I just wanted to hang out, I laid in my room, and my family they were all hanging out downstairs in the den. They'd gotten a pizza. They were watching The Simpsons, and I was laying in my room, and I said, "When am I going to die? Finally, when am I going to die by exploding into a supernova? Because I was a dumbass." I can't believe I got kicked out of that band.
No.
Well, and this is it's a true story. It's at that point when I looked up at the ceiling and I said, "There's a ghost up there."
Man, it's weird how similar my story is. You know, I remember being a preteen, and I went out for the football team, and they had me do this thing that is in the movie Varsity Blues, if anybody out there has seen that movie. And they had me lay down in the street with oncoming traffic flying by at 30 or 40 miles an hour, and I was like laying on the yellow line in the street. The only difference is that in Varsity Blues, it's like the whole team is doing that, and in this situation, it was just me. And then a car did swerve and did smash into a light pole, and I was so scared I went running. And the next day I went to school and they pulled my pants down and just, I mean, yada yada, tale as old as time.
You were paid back in kind.
Yeah. So I knew then, I was like, this is not working out, so there must be something else out there. You know?
I mean, you got to admit, it's a tale worthy of Screech from Saved by the Bell, because it's just such a goof 'em up hell of a story. You know, it gets real. It gets real fun when you realize
when you can look back and laugh a little bit.
High school is a funny time for all.
Yeah, and that's the reason why. Like from a very young age, we were in touch with how miserable it can be.
Right. The reason we're able to laugh now is because we are standing upon mountain high.
Right.
Where's my camera? That's right. We don't need. Well, just to be clear, I did actually expect to look into a camera just now, but our director is sick, and so we're kind of freeballing it. So, you know, but that being said, we are standing on mountain high. In the paranormal kings are we.
Yeah.
And the universe, we say, you know.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Bring it on, and all of the above, because
there's something better than there's something better than babes out there.
Yeah, there's something better than having planned your life well. And there's something better than goals, and something better than some sort of legacy. Look, there is something better than this world, and that higher realm. And this is why I would look a non-believer in the eye, and I would just say, "Man, you're dead. You're dead."
Yeah, and that's why nobody at work likes us, and why we're not the life of the party, so to speak.
We are. Look, the truth is that the core truth for me is that the paranormal, UFOs, Sasquatch, Alf, Star Wars, Garfield, it is passion. It's passion personified. It's my water when I'm stumbling through the desert.
It's the rope that gets me out of the freight elevator shaft.
Yeah, if it had crashed.
Right before it crashes.
It's the
nuke on Japan.
Right. It's the door that kind of collapsed in my neighbor's doorway, and I needed a door to hang up. It's
Ray Manzarek saying Jim Morrison, hey, I got a band, you should be the lead singer.
And then Jim Morrison is... That's who we feel like now.
We're two Jim Morrisons of an astral plane of secret forbidden knowledge.
Here's what I'm going to say right now to you, non-believers. We've made a effort to understand you tonight. We know you have a car. We know you're ripped. Look, I don't know what you feel like, but there's no. I don't like to curse on the show, Eric, but there's no fucking way you feel as good as we do, because I am flying high into the stratosphere with I am Jim Morrison, and Jim Morrison died, but I'm the version of Jim Morrison that's going to live forever, surrounded by ghosts and aliens, and just going nuts.
And you know, when our ship comes in, and we believe that to be a literal ship, a mothership that will come to get us, as much as we believe that there are aliens of all sorts, there are races that are unkind and have ill will towards the human race, there will be one race that's favorable to us, Alex and I in particular. This is all well documented. We have blogs and vlogs, reams of material on it.
I'd love to sort of unload that stuff on the air, and we get it. We give our wisdom out piecemeal, but it's really is.
It's all there. We've got a detailed map of all this. But when that day comes, there are going to be people who say, "You guys were so right," and they're going to say, "Take us with you." And we haven't really decided yet whether we'll be sort of generous in that regard.
We
may say you're too hot, or we may say, hey, you're too hot in a bad way, and you're too hot in a good way, and so you come on, you stay here.
Yeah, and we haven't hashed out the philosophical epistemology of how we'll decide, the sort of different levels of qualities that in which we make our what will truly be a final judgment for all of humanity, in which we are literally dealing out life and death for everyone who lives.
And there may be some people who we allow to come with us,
maybe. So watch your ass.
Yeah, and
watch your goddamn ass.
And seed human life onto other planets.
We may take you with you and then maroon you.
Yeah, we may say, hey, like, yeah, come on, and then you find yourself in an airlock screaming, and we're looking at you through the window. Just be like, bye, bish. Or
look, it's hard for us to cover all of our passions in one episode, all of our paranormal passions. I mean, because this is our entire lives, and I wish our director wasn't sick, because I would heal him. I would. I'd reach inside him and I'd take his heart out and I'd squeeze everything that's bad out of it, and then I'd put it back in.
But we don't have that yet.
Yeah.
We're working with some people on.
I'm taking a class.
Why don't let's do one more headline? How about?
Yeah, let's do one more headline. Eric, I'm feeling great right now.
Yeah, we're really getting to some meat and potatoes here.
And we do, for those of you out there watching, we do appreciate you. We next week we'll be back to taking calls, and it's just, I'm not mad that our director's sick, but he knows we're disappointed with him, and he knows that he didn't make a mistake, but it's because he's not a good person that he's sick.
So this headline, we don't typically do political stuff, but this headline somehow just made its way into the stack. The Syria war, Trump says missiles will be coming.
And I don't want to be sort of holistic about this headline, because the headline is the headline. It's not good. I mean, in the traditional sense. I guess I would say a lot of people would, and now I'm not saying I agree with this, but a lot of people try to argue that war is essentially not a good thing and not enjoyed.
I mean, I look at it as just, hey, sort of boys will be boys. Things are, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
When I walk down the street and I go get a sandwich at the store, hey, I give them my money, they give me the sandwich, thanks, see you later. And, that's my life. I think that this stuff is kind of that stuff that's, it's like, let the professionals handle it.
Yeah, I mean, when you said boys will be boys, I think that says it. People are going to mess around. There will be wars and other kinds of tomfoolery.
But mostly in other places. I don't see that happening here.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, the reason Eric and I are so confident, and it's one of the reasons I so proudly wear a cowboy hat, is I'm a firm believer that America, we are not. How can you talk about politics without talking about your own country? And I don't like to sound like a pig-headed American, but this is the best country, and it will be the only one left standing once we'll all be living inside our own flags.
Yeah, and also, as far as I'm concerned, we did it. When the Soviet Union fell in the 90s,
things have been great ever since.
Things have been fine. And why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, things have been fine and getting finer. And America's been rocketing upwards towards a sort of mega heaven. And I mean, I read this and it's like, well, I guess that might be a sign that things aren't going great, but I know better. And that's exactly why I was going to mention, not to be why on earth would you be marketing a sort of a 3D graphic design program at kind of not that good of a price on the same page, sort of pointing towards World War III, if that World War III was really going to happen? I mean, that would be insane.
Yeah, because the learning curve is steep on 3D modeling programs. No one's got time to do that if there's an
Armageddon.
ICBM.
Yeah. If there's an Armageddon really coming.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time to figure out toon shaders.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is, and the idea that someone would have to learn what it is makes me sick and angry. So what I'm saying is that we have our hang-ups. This is how I feel, Eric. Mm-hmm. We have our hang-ups. We have our battles. We have our things to deal with, like my life isn't good. Mm-hmm. I have a terrible life. But our country is so wonderfully perfect, infinite, and so... I have so much amazing pride in our country and literally everything that happens in it. I mean, I'm proud of the Republicans. I'm proud of the Democrats. I'm proud of everybody on Reddit. I mean, everyone is just killing it.
Yeah, they're kicking some serious butt.
Yeah, I mean. Twitter, Facebook, Google,
Instagram, Snapchat,
Seamless, Amazon, it's all
Grubhub.
Yeah, great stuff. It's all great stuff.
Daily Motion, Crackle.
Can we talk about it for a second? I don't want to get derailed, but there's an amazing amount of television out right now, and let me tell you, it all looks good.
We don't have time to watch it, but when I see that it's out there, when I pick up a newspaper and I see it advertised, I'm just like, wow, that we've come a long way since Archie Bunker.
Can we say now, why on earth, how could you possibly think that America is in trouble when a show like American Vandal comes out?
Yeah.
You see that show, and it's so, it is such a good, funny mockumentary, so well crafted.
Yeah, that was funny.
The
trailer was funny. I didn't see the actual thing.
The trailer
was it good?
It's very funny. It's really well done. It's as well done as the trailer shows how good the production value is and how sort of funny and well filmed, well produced, and I mean, if so many people talk about it, and not just American Vandal. I mean, people talk about like Billions and like all these other shows.
I've heard Billions is rocking.
Billions, Scandal, American Idol, The Voice,
Capital, Homeland,
Kanye West, Beyonce. Gwen Stefani,
The Voice, Blake Shelton, Adam Levine,
Edward Sheeran, Edward Snowden. Look, I mean,
it's all there.
This is a self-evident argument to why would there be so much basically, when you get down to it, complete bullshit entertainment. If our world and our country was about to blow up.
It doesn't make any sense. Why ruin such a good thing? There's no one in their right mind that would go to war right now.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's not that I don't think that nuclear weapons are real or that war could cause the end of the earth. I'm saying anyone who fucking has a subscription to Hulu Plus or Netflix or Amazon Prime would be like, I'm not going to cause a nuclear war because there's so many great fucking shows.
Yeah. Now, if the new Roseanne's not good, if they don't renew,
then throw on the old Roseanne.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if the pop culture that we're just waiting to dig into even if it all went away, there'd still be opportunity to create more. So why start murdering people?
Yeah, here's what I want to say. I have a supernaturally assured belief that America will be forever standing upon a golden throne. Standing on even sitting. Standing on the throne. And the throne is just flying all around. And
yeah, like a golden chair flying straight through space. Destination unknown.
But one place it's not destined for
is hell.
The one place where things truly end.
Now, and also, you might say, if you were a naysayer, well, okay, there might be some people in some other countries that might want to start a war. But hey, even they're doing great. The Chinese are doing great. The Japanese are doing great.
Those are the two other countries.
Yeah. And they're both, I mean, you look at what they're making, Mitsubishi.
We're not economists, but we have part of a map, and we look at that map, and from what we read, sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I look at the news, I say, sounds good.
And that's why, these people that are at the New York Times or whatever rag you want to pick up and read.
Just print it out and throw it out.
Yeah, they should be spending their time investigating the real news items. The Nessies, Loch Ness Monsters, Chupacabra, and the like.
Basically, there's one true danger, and that is to not look to the world beyond. Nothing else matters, because if it did, it would just be truly, deeply upsetting, because I only spend my time thinking about the world beyond. It's something I can't truly consider.
I sleep on a pile of newspapers because I don't want to. I guess it's like an aesthetic sort of sacrifice I'm making, not getting into a comfortable bed. I want to be close to information so that almost by osmosis I can know what's going on sort of not in this world, but in beyond.
And that's the level, even into the dark of the night. We are willing to take these things with us and just kind of lay on them. And
when we have to ram it home, we ram it home. When there's
well said.
I don't think it's even worth going into that.
Our music playlist is done. That's
the sign.
That's the sign. I mean, I want to say we've explored so much truth tonight.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any need to do a dark truth, but let's just do a final. Let's do a final thought. Let's
do that. I'm also going to just see if anybody's commented, just because we do like to give the devil its due, and by the devil we mean, our fans, and some people. Oh, okay. So we've got Sean Hernandez and Dave Kahn, kind of chiming in. Thank you. They probably aren't still watching, but great. Final thoughts.
And that's the sort of deep.
That's a deep dive.
That's the sort of deep dive you can expect every week. No, I want to say, we're working on our interactive segment on the show. It's one step at a time. We've been slowly building the technical side of our show, and we're going to be doing a lot more phone calls and reaching out to the fans who are watching the show. Our director was sick this week, and so we don't like to talk about it, but the show was basically an absolute wreck.
Yeah, and that's part of why having something beyond this that we can put our mind on, it allows us to free ourselves from, hey, not only is my life going great, my show's not going well either. So I might as well stuff my face full of White Castle sliders and
or start building a ladder into the sky.
So we don't have to do that, because guess what? There is a mothership out there somewhere,
and we'll judge everyone. So, final thoughts. Paranormal passions. We explored some of our deep thoughts.
Yeah. I guess my final thought for the night would just be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And if you want to be ripped, you can be ripped, but you're going to be missing out on an entire wild ride in life that begins and ends A to Z with shadow people. It begins with shadow people and it ends with Zarnan, Lord of all subterranean sea dwellers. So choose wisely, as I guess the bottom line of what I'm saying.
My final thought is going to be this. I shall remain for all time. At the core, and just unpack that a little bit, at the core of my paranormal belief is an infinite rage that causes me to sort of disappear from my own life. And I am a failure par excellence in the terrestrial realm. And if I didn't have this mothership to look forward to, it is not beyond my imagination that I would literally just drive my car into a 7-Eleven. And the reason I laugh is that I know that's not going to happen. Because, can you imagine what I would be like? What I would have to be like to be in that moment? It would be too much for me to take.
And the mothership will be filled with all
things. They'll all be there. Look, we want to thank you for watching Dark the Night, an unusual episode. Paranormal Passions. Those are our final thoughts. Join us next week. We're going to have Laura Gray on the show from Comedy Central's The Opposition. A show in which we kind of just, I've never seen the show.
I hear it's funny. I hear it's really. I hear they're talented.
Look. Thanks for watching Dark of the Night.
We'll see you next week, folks.